I'm ready. Hello and good evening. I'm here for some breaking news. This just in. Pop star Kehlani is Lebanese. Lebanese. She's Lebanese.
Oh no.
I thought she was American.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Queer Collective Podcast. My name is Karbon.
And I'm Emily.
And welcome to our show. So what are we talking about today, Emily?
Today we're going to talk a little bit about labels because if you didn't notice by our little intro, Kehlani is now a lesbian.
What?
And everyone lost it.
Yeah. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Like I understand why, but I don't get it, like, for myself. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the backstory of Kehlani, just in case nobody knows who the heck Kehlani is, which you should, because she is dope at singing.
Pretty attractive.
And that too, yeah. Good songs, got some bops. And so she's a singer and came out as bisexual, then I suppose pansexual, and now lesbian. So I think that the reason that people are freaking out about it is because of the label changes. I think people tend to like freak out when someone changes their label, I suppose. And I kind of wanted to just talk about why that is.
Yeah.
Like, why do people freak out?
Yeah. So this podcast isn't all about Kehlani saying she's a lesbian. It's more so just about the fluidity of labels in your decision to label yourself. Like, It isn't something that's forever. Yeah. And we want to share our own experiences with that, like the labels that we've gone through and like continue to go through, and just how we feel labels should be used. Yeah. And how they shouldn't be used.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So specifically, what I don't like about that is just this huge pressure that society places on not just celebrities, on everyone, to know exactly what you want to label yourself the second you come out of the closet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially when it's a hard conversation to have, say with like a parent or grandparent, you feel like you need to know exactly what you're coming out as, and you don't want to change it. You don't want to confuse them. You don't want to make the process any harder. So that's how you do it. And for me, I didn't know what my label was initially. I was like, am I bisexual? Am I a lesbian? Am I pansexual? I have no effing clue. Yeah. Right? I was like, I just know that I'm like attracted to people who are the same gender as well. And so I felt like I had to wait until I was in a relationship with another woman to like come out to my parents, because I was like, I don't really know what to tell them.
Right.
But it feels easier if I'm like, I'm dating your girl.
Right.
Then I don't have to say.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. And I totally get that. I think that, there is such a, I suppose you could say, stigma around labels, especially in the queer community, of like, if you identify as whatever, whether it's lesbian or gay or bisexual or whatever it may be, that's what you are and that's what you have to stick to, like, for your whole life. Yeah. Kind of like, don't step out of this box right here, please. Yeah. And I think perhaps people have a hard time when they've categorized something and then all of a sudden that changes. Yeah. It's like, whoa, where do I put you?
Yeah, because our minds innately want to be able to categorize people into like essentialist categories of, say with gender, male, female, like transgender or bisexual, gay, straight, etc. Like, people just want to be able to label you and keep you there because it just makes sense in their mind. And that's just how our brains work, is we like to categorize people to make sense of them.
We like to organize things. We like to put things in their place, you know?
And I think, while it was super challenging for me, even feeling like I needed to know my label, I wonder how hard it is for people in the public light, like Kehlani, like Elliot Page, where you're coming out and like your labels are changing over time while people know you. Because it did feel like it was overwhelmingly positive for Elliot Page. Like everyone was really praising him. But I wonder if it's challenging, if it adds any pressure or not.
I feel like it must.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Because if Kehlani right now says, oh, I realized I'm a lesbian, what if like now she has put herself into the box of she can only date women now? And if she feels maybe like it could be a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road, that for whatever reason, whatever happened in her life, she's at the point where she is attracted to, say, a man, for example, you know, but she's been using the term lesbian for like the past 15 years. Does that
so many people
now
know it?
And then does that now like even confuse you based on the label that you put on yourself?
Right. Because you feel like you have to uphold
that even to yourself
for everyone else. Yeah.
Not everyone else, but even for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I said I was this. So
gotta go do it.
Yeah. I think it's actually brave, in my opinion, and important when people like Elliot Page and like Kehlani are open, like just publicly able to express who they are, like freely and like openly, and be willing to accept the changes in their lives and like, you know, be on good terms with it. I think it's good because it just kind of normalizes that things are fluid, not, you know, nothing is rigid.
Now I'm wondering, I kind of shared my experience of how labels sort of impacted the way that I felt when I was coming out, and I'm wondering if you had a similar experience.
For me, it's actually it's been confusing. I think probably up until recently, where I'm starting to kind of accept every part of me. But at first I said I was bisexual, and then I said, oh, like I've only dated women for the past bit, so I must be a lesbian, right? And I kind of stuck myself in that box, and then I've been in that box for a while, and then more recently I'm like, wait a minute, but why do I have to like limit myself to whatever I labeled myself as, you know? And more recently I've been just kind of accepting that I have attractions for different people, different bodies, different, you know, orientations and genders and etc. And it's all valid. I think that's actually what I wanted to get to. I completely forgot. Which is that full circle. But it's that every stage is valid.
Oh, completely.
You know what I mean? Because like there's so many people that like, for example, they'll say they're bisexual, and then maybe later on they'll be like, oh, I realize I'm a lesbian. It's like, oh, like that's what you were the whole time. You were never bisexual. You never felt attraction for men. And it's like, no, that's not it. Every part of that journey was valid. Totally. What I felt was valid. Like, you know?
I totally agree with that. I was taking a survey the other day.
Oh, wow.
And it got...
She is studious.
It was for queer people.
Surveys.
And it got to the part where it was like, how do you identify? And I sat there for like 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I clicked bisexual, and then I unclicked it, and I was like, lesbian. And I was so unsure. I literally sat there for 5 minutes. So I am curious as to your opinion of like what you would label me, and then I just decided to go with queer in the end. And that's kind of what I prefer in general, is just like, I'm queer. But okay, here's the thing. I am attracted to men, but I don't want to date them. I only like having relationships with women, and I'm much more attracted to women, but I am attracted to men. Am I bisexual? I don't really like calling myself bisexual, and it's not because of the stigma. I just don't feel like I resonate with bisexuality.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's also something that just needs to be perhaps more widely accepted as well. Is just that, just deciding not to have a label at all.
Yeah.
Because you don't need one. It doesn't change. Like the label fundamentally does not change who you are or who you like. So what does it matter?
Yeah. Why do I get bothered by it though? Because like I know that.
I think it's because of like just what we decided upon as a society to call it. Okay, so in North America, we live in a society where everything is categorized and put into that box. Yeah. Right? So again, with sex, male and female, and gender, and woman and man relationships being the hetero norm. When you like challenge that essentially and go outside of it, the structure, the I guess you could say the fundamental structure, you still transfer that over to that new thing that you're trying to create. So instead of everything being fluid, you still try to categorize things and you still try to put them in the boxes.
Right. I think the amount that it comes up for me is why I don't feel okay with it. It's like every time that someone asks me like, oh, by the way, like, are you a lesbian? Or like, what are you? You know, because like it weirdly happens somewhat frequently. And when I fill out surveys or when I do like that kind of stuff, I feel like it comes up for me often of like, how do you identify? And in my head, I'm totally fine with just calling myself queer, but I always feel like when someone asks me that question, I have to explain myself fully. Like I can't just say one word.
Right.
You know, like I feel like I need to do this big spiel every time. But it's like, why do I feel like I need to explain myself to people?
And also, like, why are people asking you?
I don't know. I feel like the reason that it feels different is because there's like so many different labels that the queer community has created for ourselves. It's like, oh, if you don't resonate with this exact experience, then there's this other label for you over here. Like, it's like we got out of a box to put ourselves in another box.
Exactly. That's
you know,
what I'm
and we're
saying.
trying to categorize ourselves so much because we are also raised in this society, like you said, where we're constantly confronted by all of these like checkpoints where we need to categorize ourselves, like just bureaucratically, like we have to like go get our driver's license, like check M or F, you know?
Yeah.
So constantly being confronted with that, our minds also work the same way as everyone else's do. We want to categorize each other. We want to understand each other on that level to be able to relate to one of each other and like categorize each other, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's more like subconsciously why it bothers me. Like it doesn't actually, the interaction doesn't bother me in the moment. Like I don't mind having that conversation and explaining myself, but it does sort of like chip away at you and make you feel a bit more self-conscious. It makes you feel like you need to know. And maybe it's why Kehlani felt like she had to be like, I realized I'm a lesbian. Like I got here.
Right.
Flag in the sand, you know, like I did it. Like she felt like I did it, Joe. I did it. Because I was doing that for a while, honestly. Like I was like, no, I'm bisexual. And then I felt like it was important to like tell everyone like, no, I decided I'm a lesbian, you know? But now it's like I go back and forth literally every day. I don't know. Like some days I feel more attracted to women and then other days I'm like, that boy's kind of cute, you know? So
yeah.
It just like, it doesn't actually matter to me in my head, but I have to constantly remind myself that because of how categorical our society is. Like every single day I have to remind myself because you come up to these like barriers and checkpoints so frequently.
You really do. It's actually kind of strange how frequent we come into or come across these like categories that we have to answer for.
Yeah, in like every single survey. And like I get it as someone who was in a marketing program.
I get it.
Like when you're trying to target a demographic, you need to understand who they are.
Yeah, for sure.
And then how much is that like a self-fulfilling prophecy? Like you check this box and then you are becoming the box.
Whoa! You speaking like philosopher words.
Thank you. That's why I so much respect just the concept of being non-binary. And that's why I just want to label myself as queer, because I don't want to subscribe to these boxes anymore.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it is a self-fulfilling prophecy and it takes me away from being me because I'm trying to be whatever the heck that label is.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it.
Yeah. Ooh, she tired.
Yeah.
Or maybe
spicy.
Let's talk really little with really little mouths. How little can you get your mouth?
Pretty small.
Show me.
Super small.
It's not that small, but you have a big mouth in general.
No,
like your mouth is like naturally much bigger.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Finger is very little.
It's very small.
Hello? But you like, your mouth is naturally bigger than mine. Like, yours goes so far. So I have another question for you. I feel like I'm just like working through my own problems with labels right now, but that's fine.
That's okay. This is therapy.
Yeah, I hope hopefully someone listens to this and they're having the same problems and they just feel like they can relate to what I'm saying. Are you an overthinker of labels the way I am, or does it not pop up in your mind space so much?
I was before. I'm not. No, I'm not really anymore. Because anytime that I label myself, I feel very restricted.
Yeah.
And not only do I feel restricted, but I feel like I can only act a certain way or dress a certain way. The fact of the matter is that that's not who I am, you know? Like, for a while, I like suppressed certain parts of who I am. Like, sometimes I would suppress my more feminine aspects. And sometimes I was like worried that I was being too like masculine, so I would start suppressing my masculine aspects, like that side. And I would always just like suppress one over the other. And just like it's just this balancing act of suppressing one and then going back to the other, but it was never even though.
Yeah. Do you feel like Kehlani's news should have been newsworthy?
No.
I guess it just
Like-
gets the lesbians
like if-
excited.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think they just think they have a chance again.
They have more of a chance because 50% of the population got kicked out. I think that's what it is.
Oh boy.
I won't lie. At first sight, it got me excited.
When I take away the label and just use like the umbrella term of queer, which can mean so many different things.
Yeah. Keep guessing.
Keep guessing. I'll
You want to know what I
guessing.
am?
Keep
Guessing.
No, but now that I've stripped away oh my god.
Keep guessing.
Now that I've stripped away the specific label
Yeah.
and have gone for a more umbrella term, I don't have to be any specific way.
No, you don't.
Yeah. So
You just
okay.
have to be Karbon.
Exactly. So the thing now is that I don't feel like insecure or guilty or ashamed or embarrassed when I choose to, for example, dress more feminine or dress more masculine or dress somewhere in between. Like, now I just don't really care.
Just do whatever you want.
And I just wear what I want. And I just wear what I want when I want to wear it.
Because I can't.
When I want to wear it.
Anyway, okay. So thank you guys so much for watching. Can you get back here?
So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this pod. Make sure to like the video if you're on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. You can do that on the podcast app too. So with all that being said, we will see you guys in the next pod. 3, 2, 1.
Please.